All right, guys, we're gonna be covering qualifying potential buyers and sellers. Let me just get a couple copies out, and if you guys want copies, let me know. I'll leave it in your mailbox like before. Because you guys are in it with us and all that fun stuff. And then let me get one for Joseph. All right, that's it. Thank you. Okay, cool. Here's one for you. So the lead generation and lead follow-up aspect, a lot of what we're doing is assessing who's ready, who's not, right? And it can become, quite honestly, a big time suck when we're focused on a handful of people, and then we find out later in the game that they're not ready to transact. But at the same time, you've taken all this time to show them properties, to get them into houses, to get them through the process in order to see whether or not they were even truly ready to do anything. We've gone through being a real estate expert. We focused on lead generation. Now the fourth pillar, or the fourth step within the third pillar of lead follow-up, is qualifying potential buyers and sellers, asking the right questions, identifying some of the hot buttons, and really truly assessing who is right today, in the next 10 days, ready to transact with us, who would be ready in 30, who would be ready in 60, 90, 120, and further out. One of the best things you can do for your own time block and for your own business is giving a fair assessment. And before real estate, I was terrible at assessment. I thought anyone who said yes, thumbs up, they're going to transact with me right now. And truly, they were telling me they weren't ready yet, right? And we'll go through some examples of that. Number one, when we're lead generating, finding the motivated, and we're doing our lead follow-up, finding the motivated in there. Classify by able, ready, and willing, or if you work with our coach Susan Rose, it's ready, able, and willing, looking for raw clients, and then qualifying both buyers and sellers. And sometimes they're both, right? Sometimes it is the seller who's also a buyer. And sometimes in one of our teammates' cases, they're a buyer and they're a seller at the same time, right? They're going to buy a house, and as they close escrow, they're going to be selling their departing home, their departing residence. Big quote from Gary Keller, and this is going to be a recurring theme from Chip. Your number one job as a real estate agent is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. And we talked about that in detail between prospecting, marketing, targeting your different pillars. Some people are heavy on the SOI. Others might be working a farm. Others could be working an NOD list, notice default list for sale by owner, expired, etc. The list can go on. And we talked about it before. Just pick maybe four parts at least. Maybe just one, right? But you look at these tables, or traditional tables held up by four table legs, right? And our job is real, and our job in real estate, maybe your business might be supported by four lead generation pillars. I know for us, it's really been our core group within our sphere of influence, our general sphere of influence and past clients, and the networks that we're a part of, right? And building referrals from other agents, and then earning business from other business people who don't do real estate, but they may be doing divorce work or attorney work, or they might be doing construction. But as the referrals from us go to them, it does get reciprocated back, where we're getting referrals on that same end as well. Let's see here. Myth understandings, or I should say misunderstandings. Dispel the myth understandings. What myths do you hold about finding buyers and sellers? That's a question for everybody. Moj, Katie, Monica, Joseph, what are some myths that you guys hold about finding buyers and sellers? Like, what kind of obstacles or misunderstandings have you put in front of attracting clients or working with clients?
Well, I think I'll go first on somewhere. Our motivation is to find a client. I think if the client is not ready to move on, I think we kind of maybe not be as good with the client, or as connecting with the client. I think some clients are just starting, because I had a client who was just starting, ended up turning to be a sale. But every client, you gotta remember, just because we initiate a conversation, that everybody is jumping on board too, because even if they're ready, it may take a month or two to sell their properties, and if they're gathering thoughts, just make sure it takes time and just be patient.
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes it be a time suck. We kind of started that way. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of it's assessment, and we're going to go through the assessment portion.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Hold on. What do you mean?
So like when it comes to myths, or even general obstacles, like when you think of working with a buyer or seller, you've seen kind of the gamut.
Yeah.
But what are some things that you kind of put in saying as a roadblock, or something that, I always think of a myth as something that isn't real, but we make real.
We're thinking that they don't need my help, that they already know the answers, at least this was before I got like.
I think that's
Before coming to,
I think it's kind of a say no, but they wouldn't mean yes. I think they say no, but you have to be good. That's a very common one. I mean, rather being persistent, just asking over and over again the same thing, because it hasn't clicked to them that really they need your help.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I mean, for myself, on that same thread, on one of my old myths were, hey, I don't know enough about what to say when I do find them. Right, which sounds kind of stupid because we're supposed to find them and then we can figure it out along the way, right? One of the other ones was, well, they may already know somebody. They already know a realtor, or yeah, they came to the open house. I'm not going to ask the question. They look put together. I'm not going to do it, which is also double done, because we can all look whatever we look like, but it always matters that we engage and let them self-select out, let them tell us, are they working with someone, or are they not? We can be the ones asking the questions and driving it.
Right.
Katie, Moj, I know you guys are fairly new to real estate, but do you guys have any myths that you guys hold as an obstacle when it comes to finding buyers or sellers? And sometimes it could be the reverse. Some people have the myth that because they got a real estate license, people will come to me. So, you also got to look at it from a two-way street that, hey, we got to be proactive and not necessarily just reactive to what we're doing. Yeah, so if you guys have anything, feel free to chime in, or any questions.
I think that's pretty, very control.
No, not at all.
Because I think our point of contact is much more stronger when you are at an open house. I think open house, everybody loves to go open house because we think we're getting less time. And the clients come into open house show interest. So if the clients say, oh no, I'm just looking, they must have an interest for them to take their time to come in to buy and load the property, either for themselves or maybe somebody else. Or it's good to be persistent there, because you don't want to lose them, because they may have an agent, but the agent is not so strong. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, one of the other myths, when I think about it, is I'm not going to know everything, and nobody does. I mean, you might have a wide understanding of stuff, but to say that you truly know everything is unbelievable. Now you might know the people to talk to, like Google or WhatsApp, or you might know people in your network, like attorneys or contractors or lenders or reverse mortgage, consultants, trust attorneys, all that stuff. So you might know somebody who has the answer for your client's question. Another myth would be, well, the market isn't the best market to buy or sell, right? And total BS. I think for any one of us who were here online or in person yesterday, totally the opposite. There's so much more opportunity now than ever before. It's just a matter of what are their goals in relation to what's going on, right? And then it's finding a way to mirror match those two together. How buyers found their agent, which I thought was kind of cool. Check this out. The very first one, referral from a friend, neighbor, or relative. For all buyers, it was almost half, 47%, right? 57% were first-time home buyers referred by a friend, a neighbor, or a relative. So for those farmers out there, if you're aspiring to door knock and build those type of community relationships, and I'm not even saying this farm, like maybe like us, we're not going to door knock. Not going to door knock, not going to do it. However, what we are going to do is we're going to build a neighborhood watch, and we can do a door knock to invite to a neighborhood watch. We're going to build the community outreach, and we can door knock to invite to that. But we're not going to door knock just to sell real estate, right? So we're going to build a relationship from neighbors, and if there are referrals coming from that, then here we go. Used an agent previously for a transaction, 13%. And I'm going to just jump through these. Inquired about a property they saw online, 7%, right? Website, 7%. Open house sign, 5% for sale sign. Referral from another agent, 5%. So that's that KW referral or network board referral deal. Visited an open house, 4%.
This is also, I don't know, Keller Williams family got this, but this information is very
Yeah.
important. Because if 57% are first time buyers, that means we have to give ultimate attention to them and make sure we coach them. And if they're referrals of friends, just to make sure you can do this, put it,
Yeah.
they may be small companies.
What
Those are the things that I get from.
Oh, yeah, what this tells me, you know, when we pick out our 4 pillars. And let's say I wanted to say, I'm gonna be an open house, you know, sitter. I'm gonna build around open houses. I'm gonna build a referral network with agents. I'm gonna do like my website real pretty. And you know what, I'm going to work my online leads.
Mhm.
Well, all in all, you only got a quarter of the market space, less than a quarter on 4 pillars that require 4, you know, full-time attention and stays. Now, that's a good 25%, you know, if you're on a broad scale, right? But if you're on a limited budget, limited time, okay, how are we going to be able to convert in a very fast scale? Well, if you're working with friends and neighbors and relatives and you're asking for referrals, off you go. Or working and earning referrals, like you said.
Right. The other thing that if us as agents, I mean, so we're there, you know, we're out and about every single day,
Mhm.
growing our business, right? Like, for example, us in Team La Familia, we just started marketing and paying ads on social media, Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
But let's say I'm new, right? I don't have all the knowledge and I'm doing the marketing. And I see, oh my God, I'm only gonna get 7% of buyers and 30% of hometown.
First time buyer, yeah.
Oh my God, you know, I'm paying all this, I'm doing all this work, but you gotta understand that you're one step closer to getting a referral from that person. You're one step closer
Very true.
because
Very
you don't
true.
know where that relationship is gonna go, you know, so that's, you know, not to focus on the percentage, 7%, but you know that that number will always grow in another category. That's where you start, but that's not necessarily where you're gonna end.
So what you're saying is you build a relationship with
Yeah.
people, like we kind of hit on
Yeah.
before, but you build a relationship long term.
Yeah.
They're gonna be part of the 47% that are
Put them in
referring.
your database and just follow and just cultivate the relationship, and you never know when they're gonna call, hey, Philip, you know, I know you've been calling me for months and I am not ready to buy a home, but my brother is, or
Yeah.
but my neighbor is trying to sell, or whatever, so don't focus so much on the percentage, which is very low. Always think ahead of, hey, who is this person gonna lead me to?
Good point.
But we have done it before in other industry, it's referral after referral after referral. And maybe the original contact person, we don't ever see them again,
Never see them.
but because it's consistent with relationship building, so just to keep that in mind. So
Oh, yeah.
10% is just.
I agree. Well, the 4%, let's say you meet 100 people.
Yeah.
And 4, you know, say, hey, I'm a buyer lead,
Mhm.
right? The other 96%, you're gonna follow up with them no matter what. But in the same vacuum of time,
Mhm.
4-hour open house, meet 100 people, I don't know, 100 people.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, but if you met 100 people that you know, and you got 47% return on the same effort, well, I'll take the 47 over the 4. But Monica's right, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If you met 20 people, 30 people, 50 people at an open house, who cares if they have a realtor? Build a relationship with them, you just never know where that's gonna go, and it goes, yeah, but.
Yes, I have a question. I don't know if, I'm thinking as if this does this apply to before COVID, does this take into account the COVID, and does it take account afterwards COVID?
Yeah, no, that's a great question,
I know
so,
we are in about maybe a 4 year before the COVID, during the change in COVID and getting as COVID, and are people buying habits changing? I don't know how recent.
so this was reformatted in April of this year, right? So you're taking into account, I mean, Keller Williams has been around for almost 40 years, so let's say 39 years up until this point. And they're gonna take data, so it's not just the KW Market Center data, which is pretty vast in and of itself. They take NAR data, National Association of Realtor data, and then these are the numbers, right?
Okay.
Now, granted, for our local area, I actually don't know if anyone that does it.
That can answer my question.
Oh, totally. How sellers found their agent. Now, this is on the seller side, right? So for sellers, they found 39% came from a friend, neighbor, or relative. 29% used their prior agent. That means 70% of sellers, 71% of sellers didn't use their past agent, right? You know, that means there's 7 out of 10 agents who are like, I don't know, for whatever the reason, didn't get the call, and maybe, you know, this is my feeling too. Maybe we didn't stay in touch with them, maybe we didn't, you know, we ruined the relationship during the transaction, that happens sometimes, you know. I'll fall on the sword on that. We get better and better every time though. There's so many reasons for that. Personal contact by agent, 4%. So personal contact, believe it or not, would be a door knock, a direct phone call, ring, ring, ring. I'm an agent you don't know. I'm soliciting you for your house. Referral from another agent, very low. Website, visit an open house, for sale, open house sign 2%. Right. Now, don't get me wrong, I've heard these stories. In fact, one of the homes I sold as a selling agent, or what we call a buyer's agent, she got the listing in Granada Hills because she had a sign, and literally the seller thought she was cute. And then he and her husband, his wife, they signed up for a listing, which I thought was kind of weird. But that's pretty rare.
I don't find that to be rare, because I see cute agents trying to be cute, and
No,
if they're that group, if my previous experience, just let you know, it's not good.
Okay.
That to me is the norm, even
Yeah.
before COVID, not so.
That's it, Monica. Every lady in our team will get like supermodel shots or something.
Oh, I like that idea.
There was a joke. Someone said on a realtor's account, on a comment, hey, is this an OnlyFans account? I actually had to Google what that meant, and I thought, oh, they were calling her a, you know, but
Because very few people see a picture of that, they know how professional, or how kind it is, how can, it's the picture, oh, she's just nice, or I like blonde, or I like redhead, or brunette, or I like full of whatever the reason is.
Right.
That's what I can, people just get into their art. But
yeah,
that's
totally.
just my opinion.
No.
That makes sense.
Right, and on your thread, check this out. If you look at buyers, if you look at 47% came from referral from a friend, neighbor, or relative, and use a previous agent, 13%, repeat buyers are 19, or if you look at first time versus repeat. And then under sellers, you see that it's 39% for all people who are buying their home, and then as first time buyers or second time buyers. And if you look at previous agent, 30%. If we just focused our time with existing relationships and adding to what Monica was saying, new relationships into that pool, and just kept fostering and providing value, then we're top of mind. In our previous session, we talked about how when 75% of people can think of one realtor.
I think a good idea would be 2 days. One would be for the holiday, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever the religion is, or one would be for their birthday. If you don't accept, send them a card, that send them a nice card, it goes in their memory. Oh, I remember him. So when time comes, let me take my shot. Then maybe.
You go. Yeah, there it is.
Just for that, everybody got.
Yeah, absolutely. For those Joseph was sharing that, hey, make sure you're making a call and sending out a birthday card, not just a text message because they get blown up anyway. Home anniversary, you can pull that. Even if you didn't sell them the house, you can find it on Realist. You know, something we already paid for through our board. So many different paths. And then pick the, you know, you can get to know them fairly well, wish them a happy Yom Kippur or whatever it is, you know, whatever stands out. There is a page on command in order to fill all that into. It's this little tab right here for opportunities. And you can toggle date this for further out. It doesn't have to be only people that are, you know, ready this moment, right? Or when you're in the middle of a transaction. I use this even for people who are 2 years out. And I just put the date there, you know, June of 2024. But guess what? I'll be in business in June of 2024, God willing, alive, knock on wood, right? I'm alive, I'm here, ready to do this. And by that point in time, as we continually follow up, stay in touch, hey, there's an opportunity in the basis for us to work together, right? As life happens for us. Moj, Katie, all this afternoon, may have been here in person or on Zoom. Paul Morris said it best. He said the genuine life events will still happen. Death, divorce, job changes, economic changes, kid, you know, got a downside, my knees can't take the stairs anymore. You know, whatever it is.
That happened to Coleman. He was in a car accident and in a two-story, he had to sell the two-story house to get one, but and then he put that thing that he said on it, and
Yeah.
I started virtually, that's absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, livestock
And
payment,
all the people go ask, I just, whenever I have a client, they're looking for property, I would ask them. If you want a one-story house, two-story house, but that's the thing that I know that even if they're special or even they're young, they have the kids, they want money.
100%. You need more space on that note, the kids are getting bigger. Or they're starting a family and they need to move from a 2-bedroom condo to a 3-bedroom house, a yard. Or hey, they want to start having kids. I mean, there's just so many different things that are going to have to be life events. And that's still going to cause people to sell. And there's always going to be someone who wants to get out of renting or whatever the situation is into those opportunities, or just to invest. You know, all the commercial guys here are probably busy as hell more than ever before.
Yes,
People moving their money from liquid assets to physical asset and getting whatever they
and
can.
everyone understands that.
Yeah, there it is. I think we covered a handful there. Classified by able, ready, and willing, or we like to call raw, ready, able, and willing. Focus becomes increasingly possible in direct proportion to how clear you are about what you want, when you want it, and what you must do to get it, right? And for those of us who are in forward mindset together, you'll always hear me say, what do you want, right? What is it that real estate can provide for you, right? It's more than just helping families. That's a byproduct of getting what you want, right? And getting what you want, you might help 20 families along that way to get to where you want to be, right? You're going to do all sorts of things to make your goals and dreams come true. And I say that on a kind of a macro scale because I'll hear it all the time from people who don't produce. I just want to help people. Well, what does that mean? You help them like find a lender so they can do a refinance? So because congratulations, you just help them. What does that mean? Well, I want to help them buy a house. Well, great. You just help them find a different realtor because you're not the one doing the deal. So by defining what that means, like, and it's okay to be a little selfish saying, hey, this is what I want to do, right? We're in a business that is by what it is, a business of numbers and money, right? We help people move and we impact their lives emotionally and possibly spiritually, and we make their feelings whole or their investment whole through real estate transactions, right? And if I say I want to help 20 people, I might get bored after helping 5, right? Or I might get lost after helping 2 and think, man, that was so hard. Why do I need to do the other 18? But if I say, hey, I want to go out and do something crazy and make, $1 million, but this is what the $1 million will do for me. It'll let me save 2 years, a 2-year income, 2-year income supply. It'll help me, it'll help me buy a 4-unit house. I'm gonna have peace of mind. I'm gonna have income coming in from those 4 units. And I'm gonna spend more time with my kids than ever before by taking them out to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and spend time with them in the afternoon when they're doing their jujitsu or whatever, right? And then I'm just speaking out of just hyperbole out of an example. Some of it's real, some of it's just out there. But if that's what I'm looking at in the future, then I can say, okay, now there's a reason to help 42 families, 50 families, 60 families on my way to earning that lifestyle, right? Or that end result. Is that fair enough to say, guys? Moj, Katie? Awesome. So when we get really focused on what we want, if you work it in reverse, right? You start with what you want, and then you get clear on what you're about, on what you're going to do. Right now it's forming. Right now you can work backwards, top down versus bottom up. Now when you're working bottom up, right, all the stuff that you're going through, because you can see the big picture, or like, hey, this is what's at the end. All of a sudden, all the little stuff becomes easy, right? Like early on, I was like, God, we need to get off of welfare, right? So then going to the classes was super easy. Going to the board, going to the office, going to the network meeting. All that stuff kind of fed into the grander picture of understanding real estate so that as I'm prospecting every day, it didn't matter what questions people had. I knew either I was going to get the answer or I can be resourceful to bring someone in with the answers, right? And it increased my confidence level in what I was doing. And I'm taking some extra time on this because I know early on, I mean, this is 12 classes ago, but on class 1, we asked everyone to be very clear as possible what they wanted out of real estate or out of the real estate business, because if we're not clear, I've seen it, you hit a number and you just kind of stop and you realize, oh, 30,000 wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Or 50,000 or whatever, right? But then you kind of feel like, hey, this isn't worth what I'm doing. Real estate, believe it or not, is the easiest place to make $150,000. Easiest. Easy time making 150. Hardest place to make 25,000. Incredibly hard to make 25 grand here. Because the same amount of work it takes to make 25, you could easily make 200, right? But if our focus is somewhere else, then we're really just digging hard. And I think some people would argue like, hey, it's actually easy to make 500,000 or 300,000 or whatever. But yeah, I'm just kind of using this as an example. And these are our numbers, right? Yeah. So anyway, sorry to beat that into a yeah. I don't know if you guys will hear that from other people, but definitely don't want you guys to feel like, oh, Philip's all about money. But it's really
it's a concept. I don't think it's just about money. It's about what you want to relation. You want to just what you want. You want to make 50,000 or you want to make 1 million. Where do you want to go from?
yeah, and there's no right or wrong, guys. It doesn't mean that we're in the wrong for not making X amount of dollars or making so little quote unquote dollars. That first year when we made, I think it was like $55,000 or $60,000. Goodness gracious, we were in heaven. It was like high five. Woo, Captain, you know? So to me, whatever that number is for you, just feel good inside that along that way, you're going to impact X amount of families and changing their lives forever on your path to becoming and earning that space, right? Because either way, at the end of the day, we're doing what's right for families. We're still a fiduciary as realtors. And we go to war for these clients. You know, and sometimes going to war means saying no. Right? Yeah. So able, willing, and ready. A buyer, they're ready and willing to do business in 0 to 14 days. If you got anything outside of setting your goals, remember ABC, right? Able, ready, and willing in 0 to 14 days. A B buyer, B seller, and you can reframe ABC any way you want. You know, you can say starting lineup, bench, you know, reserve, whatever. But if B buyers and sellers are ready somewhere between 15 to 60 days. And I've actually changed this a little bit. I'd say a B buyer or seller is maybe 15 to 30 days, maybe 45. So you want to kind of keep a 2-week window, and then maybe keep a 4 to 5 week window. And then C buyers essentially are like 45 or more, in this case, 61 days or more. So whenever you hear me say, you hear an agent say, I'm working my A buyers and sellers, my B buyers and sellers, when they say A on Monday, they're working those people who said, hey, I met you at an open house and I'm ready to buy a house. Here's my pre-approval letter. You know, here's my lender contact information. Here's my proof of funds. Let's dash it. You know, let's get out there. Let's get under contract right away. Your B buyers might be like, hey, Joseph, I met you. This is really good, but I need to get my stuff together. I need to meet a lender. But I need some time. And they might actually say, I need some time. And then you would say, great. When is your goal? And they give you a time frame. And that's how you can kind of decide where they're at. Some people might say after the holidays. Awesome. What is it about waiting till after the holidays that resonates with you the most? And they might say, well, I'm waiting for, this money to come from my 401k or whatever, a stock distribution or something. And they'll pay in December and I can count it in my income for January. Oh, awesome. Right. So they would be a C buyer right now. Another sign would be, hey, I need to sell this house so before the end of the year because of a tax liability. They want to get out of something or whatever. Many things, right? And a lot of times they'll just tell you when they are ready. Qualifying buyers or sellers, and this is the big topic, win-win. So why qualify? It really is to help them and help yourself, right? If they don't know what the process is, and we don't qualify them, and we take them out to see homes, and they're super excited, and then you're like, oh, let's get them pre-approved, and then they find out, hey, they're nowhere close to any of the homes that truly resonated with them. We just got their hopes up, and we just wasted each other's time, right? So document, follow a checklist, abide by fair housing regulations. This is the buyer lead sheet. Mo, we do keep something like this that we can send to you. And for Katie, I do believe that, Louisa should have something like this. And worst comes to worst, you can pull this off of KW Connect. Go to the kwconnect.com website for anyone online, and then go under search bar and put in buyer lead sheet PDF, and you'll have like 6 different versions from 6 different states. Okay, so pick the one that's as generic or as close to what you would want, but they do have this on the site. Okay.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Let's ask a buyer, are you pre-qualified? And they don't know. How do you explain it to them?
Awesome. Yeah, I would kind of explain it with, so Mo, this is your first time buying a house, correct? It sure is. Awesome. Have you taken time to get pre-approved with the lender? And most times they'll say no. So I'll ask if I can connect them with one of the lenders that we work with. And I can start a group text, with the lender. It's nothing totally crazy. If they're that open, great. I'll follow up for a consultation as they're meeting with the lender. Maybe that same day, the same day that they meet the lender to get all their information, I might have a Zoom appointment with them or a conference call appointment with them and their family or spouse to discuss some of the market of the moment and other aspects of what it takes to buy a house. So in our case mode, I mean, I would, if you wanted to, you can even have Monica and I call on your behalf or have a 3-way call. But the next step would just be to schedule an appointment. Hey, Philip, I would love for you to meet one of my partners, Monica, and for us to discuss some of your home buying options, right? Or let's say you're working solo, then the process would essentially be, well, there's a lot of options on the market, and one of the best things we can do is get you pre-approved. Unless, of course, you plan on buying with cash, or you plan on using a loan. And if it's cash, awesome, great. We need proof of funds. So the conversation kind of depends on where they're going. And the buyer sheet, as you can see here, does kind of answer some of those questions. And you can quite honestly ask this in front of them. You can go right through sheets. But we tend to qualify based on the need for a loan or no need for a loan. Are they currently working with an agent or not? If they aren't, great, let's go ahead and consult, or let's confirm our numbers that we're working with. Let's get an idea of where you want to invest or purchase for yourself to live in. And then we kind of go through the qualifying process there. In fact, I kind of do this, the buyer lead sheet, but I just kind of do it in my head because I memorize the steps. And then I take what I learned from them after writing down on a sheet, and then I upload it or type it into my to command, or I send it over to our VA and he fills out the rest. So it's kind of a long answer, but in this case, it would be to get them qualified or schedule an appointment to sit down with them and go through all the buyer consultation process. And at that point, if you're working with Louisa or us, you just have us go with you, and you'll learn with us doing it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, you got it. Most welcome. We were supposed to role play this, but and that was kind of like a mini role play. So good job, Vogue. Thank you. That was like a mini role play. So the ahas, touch plan. When it comes to your B and C buyers, so the A buyers, if you notice, there is no touch plan. It is right into the market we go, right? And with our B and C clients, you've seen this before, kind of the 19 connect, 36 to convert. If all you did was the 4 phone calls and a birthday card and if they have a home anniversary card, or maybe you connect with them on social media, that would be essentially your touch plan along the way, right? Maybe you find them on social media, befriend them on your social media platform of choice. Believe me, you don't need them all. Maybe I just do Facebook and Instagram, super simple. That's it. Monica takes on TikTok, Snapchat. I have a LinkedIn account. I need to update it. It's just totally barren. Hello. So those are one of the things that we can look into. And again, it's your preferred method, right? We're not saying one's right, one's wrong, but just have something and do it. Well, what was the thing on the table today? It says done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Or doing is better than perfect. There you go. Quote of the day: doing is better than perfect. Right.
I learned something along it's better to act on it and wait and think, because even if you make a mistake, unless you know what direction to go forward with.
100%, yeah. And so we say it all the time, fail forward, right? Fail forward all the way through. Qualifying sellers, you use a pre-listing questionnaire. And here's a simple one. Again, you can get this right off the Tatum. You can ask, how did you hear about me? Where are you moving to? What's motivating you to move there? How soon do you need to be there? If we sell your home in the next 30 days, will that pose a problem for you? All this stuff. Monica probably hears me ask these questions every so often when we're on the phone together with other clients. But you don't even have to memorize this, to be honest with you guys. I mean, you can literally keep this sheet and make it part of your calendar. And so whenever you are pre-qualifying someone, you can just read the questions as it is. And that, you know, in addition to your practice time, that's added practice. And again, a lot of times I'll take these notes, write it on a scratch note and put it into command. Or if you're calling through your database, you can just type it in notes as you're doing it, right? Role play, ahas, and again, same thing with sellers. You might, on this case with sellers, you might add them to the monthly neighborhood nurture, right? Where they just get a monthly update on their property values and stuff like that. Lead follow-up plan, this is very basic. Follow-up, convert, stay top of mind, qualify buyers and sellers. And if all else fails, after knowing what you want and you're lead generating, just block an hour a day of your follow-up, or you just do it follow-up Fridays. You know, take one day a week and follow up with everyone that's said, hey, I'm a buyer. Hey, I'm a seller. Hey, this is my time frame. And you know, sometimes the people who do tell you that they're ready in the next day or 2 or 3 might not be ready, right? Life happens. Sometimes in their mind they're ready, but when they meet the lender or they realize like, oh, this is the mark of the moment, maybe they get a little bit cold feet, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that they're out of the game altogether. That just means they might be a B or a C, right? I've taken listings when they were red hot, and then we don't list their house for 3 months, right? So they were really a C seller, but once they got realistic about what's happening, the market, whatever it is in their life, oh, okay, well, hey, we're not that ready yet. You know, I want to paint my house. I need to get rid of my tenants. I want to do this. I want to do that before we go live. Okay, great. Let's do that. You know, then our success systems, 10 conversations, 10 contacts added, 10 handwritten notes, or 10-5-1 social media engagement. I'm telling you, this is going to make you guys top producers, and at least in your own way, active as you're ever going to be. You know, I use this story from back during the pandemic. When the pandemic started, I just kind of thought to myself, oh man, you know, I gotta, you know, how am I going to get back into the game? I got all these people I need to call. Yeah, I just started with 10 a day, 10 calls, 10 messages, engage on social media, send handwritten notes, nothing crazy. And that we salvaged our year, right? We were literally at 30 grand and then 3 months of zero, and thought, wow, this is gonna be a pretty awkward year. And then $120,000 later, thumbs up, everything was cool. I know some people did way more, but you know, that was us. We salvaged our 2020. And then 2021 kind of took a life of its own. But thank you guys for jumping on. Any questions? If I hit stop on record.